Hello and welcome everyone. I'm Sayeda Sabine Arshad and I'm delighted to start this conversation with you all today. As educators, we know that teaching is not just about lessons and exams. It's about shaping minds, values, and futures. To exploring the idea more deeply, I'm joined by a remarkable educator who truly embodies this vision, Ms. Fatima Shaukat, who has been teaching for more than 17 years and currently she has been working in Beacon House, Kinalside campus as section head O levels. So, Assalamu alaikum, Fatma. How are you?
Walaikum assalam. Thank you so much, Sabine, for having me over.
Okay, Fatma. Our today's topic is actually the invisible curriculum. So that terms may seem different and may seem quite strange. So today we and I and Fatma we both will try to throw upon light on this term and give you our own insights. Fatima, you have worked with students for nearly 2 decades now. How would you define the invisible curriculum?
The very word curriculum, Sabine, when we say the word curriculum, people might come up with the idea of maths, science, or literature. But honestly speaking, there has always been and there is an invisible curriculum, which is more powerful, and it's just like consider it as the Wi Fi of education. It might be invisible, but everything runs on it. Just like the algorithms of AI, whatever we see online is shaped by this algorithm. Same is the case with this invisible
Invisible
curriculum.
curriculum. Yes.
Whatever our students become in the longer run, in life ahead, that's based on that invisible curriculum.
And Fatma, this is very important in nowadays.
I believe it has always been important, but considering the current scenario and the world around us, yes, definitely that invisible curriculum values more weight than ever before.
Okay, Fatma, I want to just ask that why do you think these invisible lessons are more urgent now than they were 20 years ago?
Well, Sabine, I believe, and you would agree on this with me, that the world has changed. I mean, the lesson students could do well with memorization, with conceptual learning, and even with rote learning some 20 years back, I
Yes,
guess.
exactly.
You did the same thing, I did the same thing.
Yes.
But considering the world around us, in
The entire
particular,
change.
the dynamics have changed, and
Exactly.
this paradigm shift requires not only the same shift towards our thinking, towards our teaching, and towards the processes of our learning. And focusing a bit deeply on this is like, Sabine, if you just look around, look at the globalization, look at the invasion of technology and AI, and look at this climate challenges.
Which has
Don't
absolutely changed the world,
and
Fatma.
I believe that students need more adaptability and more than that, the ethical grounding to
Yes,
thrive in
exactly.
this
And
world.
that's really important for nowadays.
Yes. And what is the source? It's the only thing that they need to focus is it's not only the textbook might give them a lot of information. What AI has done to us and technology and all these rapid changes around us, the information is abundant. So what exactly do we lack here, Sabine? Is the judgment. It's the inclusion, it's the acceptance, it's the tolerance, it's the empathy.
Thank you, Fatma, for these insights. So, Fatma, just can you share some example or some your own classroom practices where you try to inculcate all those things or practice those things with your students?
Well, Sabine, thank you for asking me this question. If I look back to all those years of my teaching and learning experiences, and not only as a teacher, but I have been an instructional coach for my
Yes,
campus
and
as well.
yes,
Yes,
my own instructional coach.
yes, and I've been training teachers with certain courses, the mandatory courses for my campus. And whenever I look back, Sabine, whenever somebody comes across either my trainees, one of them, or my students, they never talked about how well did I teach something. They never talk about the lessons and the concepts that I delivered in the classroom. Being a language teacher all my life almost, I've been talking about so many concepts, so many writing skills, reading skills, and whatnot. But at the end of the day, when I recall certain moments when I have been appreciated, when I've been acknowledged, they've never been for all these learnings. They've always been how how deeply I was able to create an impact
That's great, Fatma.
into the life of an individual. And if you allow me, I've been recently selected as shortlisted rather for this prestigious Cambridge Dedicated Teacher Awards, and that too for if you
Yes,
remember
I remember.
consecutive for
I
the
do.
3 years. And Sabine, going all through those nominations, I mean, out of 14,000 from all over the world, and you
That was
standing.
incredible, Fatma.
Thank you. And you standing out as being shortlisted as one of those out of those 14,000 nomination, that was actually a feat, you know.
Actually.
And when I read those nomination, the nomination which actually got me credited for this title, and Sabine, it literally brought tears to my eyes. When even I think about it right now, that nomination did not talk about how good of a teacher I was in the class, how regular or punctual I was in the class, and how wonderful lessons I delivered, what type of group works I created into my classroom. That nomination only talked about the impact, how well I was able to connect that with that child in my classroom. I would never forget that the quiet, the innocent little child sitting in the corner of the class. And he was so introvert that he never talked to anyone. And I used to initially started on a very lighter note with him that, do you speak? And he was like always used to nod yes. And I was like, do you like to speak to me? And he would just take a pause and he would just look around. And at times he would just say, and I was like,
Yes.
really? So, and that is where I started talking to him more. And that's where I tried to make others in the classroom realize that we have this one student who, no matter if he talks to us or does not talk to us, we need to ensure that he at least has talked to anyone around him, at least for today. So that's where it all started. And you know,
Inculcating empathy in students.
and not
That's
only
really
empathy,
important.
acceptance, inclusion.
Yes.
Because I believe that the world needs inclusion more than anything ever before.
Yes.
And since I myself belong to a background where I've been witnessing this discrimination, this victimization very closely, and I always knew, Sabine, how does it feel? And I always committed to myself. I decided it always with myself that I would never let anybody feel these things, at least in my presence. And somehow, uh, recalling all those days of my life as a teacher, recalling all those acknowledgments, those appreciation all around, I believe that I've been a bit successful in creating this type of impact in the lives of my students.
Certainly, Fatma. Whatever you have told me, that actually leads perfectly to my next question. Fatma, in today's world, today's digital world I'm talking about, how do you see attitudes like critical thinking and digital citizenship playing out in their daily lives?
If I say one word, Sabine, that it's all about the digital citizenship and I mean, if we look back, I always tell even my daughters at home that whatever the minutest of the actions and the biggest of your actions on the digital platforms is
Exactly.
going to leave a footprint.
Footprint, that's very
Yes,
important, leaving the
yes.
digital footprints.
Yes, and helping students, the students are very smart, Sabine, these days. You would agree? And
Extremely
since we both deal with the
voice.
boys, and that too of a very critical and sensitive age of life,
Exactly.
they are very smart,
I
Sabine.
second that.
They outsmart us most of the time.
Exactly.
And trust me, if we can't deny the fact that our lessons are generated, our lesson plans are generated through AI. And of
Yes.
course, we have to.
Very common now.
Yes, we have the software as well, and then we have been asked that we should use effectively. I mean, that is the time management,
Yes,
and there are
exactly.
many plus points in doing so. And I believe, Sabine, that students do not listen to us more; they watch us more.
Exactly.
The way
It
I
does happen in our classes.
Yes. So being a language teacher, the extract of literature, the source, the content, whatever I'll be taking to my class, telling them all the sources, acknowledging it, and the accountability that I would be showing for a resource, for a content that I'm using in my classroom, that in turn, I don't have to tell it to my students that you need to be accountable
Yes.
with the resources that you use. You need to be accountable. You need to be duly acknowledging it. So, this is where I have to tell them. I mean, not even tell them, just do it. And
Just do
this
it.
is where they learn.
So, Fatma, these were all your practices as a teacher. But because you are playing the role of a mentor and a leader as well, so as a senior school section head, how do you encourage teachers to model these invisible lessons in the classroom?
Again, I'll repeat myself, Sabine. Students do not listen to us, they watch us
They
more.
watch us. Yes,
Yes.
I endorse.
And having said that, that they watch us more, see, Sabine, if you value and model all these attitudes, values yourself, you don't have to tell them.
You don't
You
have.
don't have to go into the textbooks and find them. You being punctual, you being accountable, you being responsible, you practicing inclusion in your surrounding, you showing tolerance. You don't have to do anything else. These are automatically inculcated in your learners. You know, that conscious effort of teaching all these values, disposition, attitude of what we talk about, the invisible curriculum, is where you actually are playing your role. And trust me, Sabine, over the years, the students would never remember the lessons delivered. If I have to recall, go
Yes,
back to my life, and if I have to remember
I
forcefully
can
some
relate,
teachers,
Fatma. I can
yes,
relate.
I might remember some of them, but I would instantly remember the teachers who were able to touch me differently, touch my life differently, or made me understand.
So, Fatma, so last thing that I would like you give a message for today.
Sabine, I would definitely ask all the teachers out there that the legacy that you would carry on would never be of the curriculum that you've taught. It will always be of the invisible curriculum, which you might have ignored or might have upheld. So, having said that, trust me, your life does not depend on how many A's and A stars your students were able to score. Your legacy would only depend how many lives you could touch.
Thank you, Fatma, for such a thought provoking discussion. So, we would like to end it over here. And of course, we will be meeting for other sessions as well, where we will try to benefit from your educational experiences and thoughts. So, Allah Hafiz, and thank you, Fatma, for joining us for
Thank you
today.
so much for having me over, Sabine. It was a wonderful experience on my end as well.
Same here,
Thank you.
Fatma. So, Allah Hafiz.